Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Vicissitude Bracelet, and this was designed by me. I posted it I think 2 weeks ago or so on Instagram, and I posted this rendition a little bit later, and a lot of you guys liked it and asked for a tutorial. Before I go any further, I would just like to say that it is pretty much just a variation of the Good Fortune MK1 bracelet that was designed by Souls Provider on Instagram and on YouTube. So I'll make sure to have his name and YouTube in the description box below if you want to check that out. If you have already made the Good Fortune MK1 bracelet, then this should be very easy for you, and if you haven't, then I would either recommend making it or just kind of knowing how to do fishtail stitches. And if you've made his Good Fortune bracelet too, that would also be pretty easy. So anyway, I'm going to have my Instagram in the description box below as well. I'm not going to bring it up here, but to make this bracelet you're going to need a hook. I would recommend a double-ended hook if you have one, but if you don't, you can still transfer. You're going to need at least 2 colors of bands just so that you can kind of figure out which bands go where. And you're going to need a C-clip at the end. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And for the white in this bracelet, I'm going to be using neon green, and then for the blue, I'm going to be using yellow. But you can obviously use as many colors as you want. Sorry, my voice is kind of sore, or crackly, I can't even talk. But anyway, starting with your white band or your green band, you're going to make a cap band. And then you're going to take a green band, and you're going to pull it through the cap band. But before you close, you're going to want to lift one of the cap band loops back up onto your hook. Try to get these bands untwisted here. You're going to take another green band, pull it through the first 2, and lift the farthest one. Just make sure that your bands stay in order and that the one that you're grabbing is the same as this band over here. Going to take a second band, pull it through the first 2, and lift the farthest one. So now you have something like this. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this around on my hook here. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So take this first loop off so you can grab the cap band again. And you're going to take 2 green bands, take your first one and pull it through the first 2 loops, and lift that farthest one. Again, pulling it through the first 2 and lifting the farthest one. If you do know how to do a fishtail stitch, that's pretty much all you're doing for this first part. But now what we're going to be doing is grabbing the electric blue color, which I am using yellow for. Taking this band, you're going to pull it through the first 4 loops, just like so. And before you close, you're going to lift the outside 3. And then to rearrange, you're just going to pull these outside 2 over. So you're going to leave this green one on the inside. And then you're going to actually take another green here, and you're going to pull it through the first 4 loops, and you're going to lift the second loop, which should be your yellow loop, and the 4th loop, which is going to be your outside green, and just close, just like that. And then we're going to slide this to the other end, doing the same thing, so grabbing a yellow, pulling it through the first 4, then lifting the outer 3 and rearrange those outer 2 so that they are on the outside. Now taking a green, you're going to pull it through the first 4. You're going to lift the second loop, which should be your yellow, and the 4th loop, which is your outside green. And now what we want to do before we do anything else is grab these 2 green bands that are inside of your yellow still. So you're going to take off the first 4 loops, and you're going to grab this green band back onto your hook, and then replace all of those bands. Do the same thing to the other side, and this is the only time you have to do this. You're going to take these first 4 loops off, lift that green up onto it, onto your hook, and then close everything back off. And make sure that it does stay in order like this. And now you're going to grab your center color, which I'm still using green for. But if you want to do a different center color, it's these bands that are kind of going out to the side here, all the way up the center. So I'm going to take my green and pull it through the first 8 loops, just like so. Then I'm going to lift these 2 center yellows and then these outside 4 bands as well. So you really only wanted to grab these 2 loops that we just picked up back onto our hook. And once we have this, we can kind of start the main sequence now. So once you have this, you're going to take your yellow bands here, your 2 yellows, and you can cross them whichever way you want. I'm just going to cross them like this. Make sure that you stay consistent the entire bracelet. So once you have them crossed like this, you're going to take a yellow, pulling it through the first 6 loops. Make sure that they stay crossed, that you're grabbing 1 of each side. Grab these 2 center greens and lift them, and then these outer 2 greens and lift them, and reattach your yellow, and rearrange those outer 2 green. Now taking a green, and you're going to pull it through the first 3, but don't pull it through the first 4 because we're going to take this 5th loop and cross it over the 4th loop. So you're going to want to do that. 5th loop over the 4th loop and then pull it through. You can also do it before you pull through any bands, but I just thought I would show that. And then before you close, you're going to lift your 2nd and 4th loop. So just like this. Now slide it down to the other end. We're going to do the same thing. So you shouldn't really have much problem finding out which yellows you're taking. So take a yellow band through the first 6. And you're going to lift these 2 green and the outer 2 green, just like so. And then rearrange. And you can also, if you want, do this beforehand. Take this 5th loop and put it outside the 4th loop. You're always going to want to lift it up and over to the outside here. Then you're going to take your green and pull it through the first 4, lifting the 2nd and 4th loops and reattach. And now you're going to grab a green for the center. You're going to pull it through the first 8 loops here. There should be 12 total loops on your hook. You're going to grab the 2 inner yellow and then the outside 4 loops. And then rearrange those outside 4. So now you have something like this. And it might not look like a lot right now, but it will continue like this once you keep going. So anyway, since my yellow bands cross this way, I'm going to take this band and cross it over, taking a yellow and pulling it through the first 6, then lifting 2 green and then the 2 outer green, and rearrange, and then taking this 5th loop over the 4th loop here, and then take a green, pull it through the first 4, lifting the 2nd and 4th loop, just like so. And then switch to the other side here. Take a yellow through the first 6, lifting the inner green and the outer green. Make sure that you're lifting both of those bands. Then cross the 5th and the 4th loop here. Grab your green, pull it through the first 4, and lift the yellow and the outside green. Then, taking a green, going through the first 8 loops, grabbing the 2 center and the outer 4. So it's going to look like this now. And at the beginning it does look a little bit messy, but as you continue along the bracelet it will get more sturdy and it will look a lot nicer. So as you can see, if you've made the Good Fortune MK1 bracelet before, this is a lot like it. You're just kind of changing the arrangement of some bands. And I'll show you a couple more times, probably like 2 more times, and then I'll show you how to finish it off. So you're going to cross these yellow bands in the same way you've been crossing them before. Going to take your yellow band and pull it through the first 6, lifting the 2 inner green and the 2 outer green, and then rearranging the 5th band so that it crosses over the 4th band, and grab a green, pull it through the first 4 loops and lift 2nd and 4th loop. Switch it down to the other end, grab a yellow through the first 6, lifting the the inner two and the outer two green, rearranging the 5th and 4th band, pulling a green band through the first 4, lifting the 2nd and 4th loop, then taking another green band through the first 8. This is after you've done both sides, and you're going to lift 2 yellow and the outer 4 group of bands. Alright, so I'll show you one more time. Oops. And I am going a little bit faster because I'm assuming that you guys know how to make the Good Fortune or Good Fortune MK1 bracelet. If you haven't, then if this is confusing to you, I would recommend watching that video. But yeah, so taking 2 yellow and 3 green per section. Take your first yellow through the first 6, lift the inner 2 and the outer 2 green. Take the green, pull it through the first 3, because kind of what I like to do is just pull that band from there straight over. Then lift the 2nd and the 4th. Slide to the other end. Take a yellow through the first 6. Then lifting the 2 inner green and the 2 outer green. Take your green. I'm going to pull it through the first 3 and then just cross this band. Lifting the 2nd and 4th loops. Then taking your green, you're going to pull it through everything on your hook. Not everything on your hook, the first 8 bands. Lifting the center 2 and then the outer 4. And once you are at this point, we're going to go ahead and close the bracelet off. So go ahead and pause your videos here and I'll show you how to finish off the bracelet. So if you are at this point, what we're going to want to do is add a couple more bands on. We're going to take our yellow and we are going to pull it through the first 6, just make sure to cross that band, lifting the inner 2 and the outer 2 green, just like we were doing before. And this time what we're going to do is take a green, just like we did before. Take a green and pull it through the first 4, but make sure to switch that outer, or the 4th and 5th band. And what you're going to do is just lift the outside green loop and reattach. And then switch to the other end and do the same thing. Pull it through the first 6 loops, lifting the green bands here. And then what you're going to do is take a green, pull it through the first 3 and then through the first 4. You're just going to lift the outside one. You're going to take one more green and we're going to pull it through the center 4 loops here. And then lift those outside 3. So now you should have a total of 8 loops on your hook, 3 on each side and 2 in the center. Should look something like this. And then what we're going to do is take a green band here and just pull it through everything on your hook and close. So it should look something like this. And then you just attach your C-clip here and then to the other end and you'll be done. So anyway, that's going to do it for this tutorial, so thank you for watching and make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe. I will have Soul's provider's name as well as my name in the description box below if you want to check that out. I always post original designs on Instagram before I post them on YouTube, so if you want a sneak preview or a sneak peek or a preview, you can check those out. And that's all I'm going to have for this video, so I hope to see you next time.